This is the garden. We did harvest already at the weekend, and we did one yesterday, so you can just see how exciting all the plants are with the weather. Steve's spuds and tomatoes. There's Angel and Jules waiting for their walk. You have to wait another hour. Yes, you do. These are plants I got from people. That's burdock. And over here is mace. So you put them in your lovely stews. And in here we have loads of stuff still growing. We have my herbs, tomatoes. We have cauliflowers that I'm just potting on for some friends because we've just planted our own. Then melon, but one of them's died, and cucumbers. So there's various plants, peppers, aubergines. We have purple sprouting broccoli and cabbage sprouting there, mangetout. And in the corner, we have Harry sunflowers. And we have his sweet williams that he planted earlier in the year. They're finally starting to grow after many attacks from slugs. We have lamb's lettuce, different tomatoes, and we'll be donating these to friends if they ask for them. So if you want them, shout out. We have more little tomato seedlings there. And rocket, I'm not sure if it's rocket, but it tastes nice. So we have tomatoes, and then we have some tayberry here that we took off a plant. These are cauliflowers. These are more herbs here. So we have cinnamon basil, we have pak choi, coriander. I'm not sure if they're actually what they said on the tin, but it'll be fun growing them anyway. These are definitely basil. Steve's chilies. We won't argue with those. His pride and joy. More tomatoes. Tray of lettuce that's going to a friend at the weekend. And then they're iceberg lettuce. They're leeks that will go into the flower bed in the front at some stage. So in this one we have endive, we have carrots, if you can see, we have spring onions, we have beetroots and some Swiss chard, more endive. These were tiny when we put them in March. We didn't actually think they'd survive, that's why there's so much. Different mixed lettuces there. Spinach, same again here. The spinach is starting to go to flower. Loads of little rondo carrots, so they're like little ball-shaped carrots. Some lovely lettuce leaves. We've had those for dinner last night. They're gorgeous. These are round lettuce, so I just have to, I'm out here all the time on slug watch. And some more spinach. There's Luna. Say hello, Luna. These are my onions. Melvin was admiring these earlier in the year in my lovely grow boxes from B&Q. This was originally supposed to be my garden for this year. But when Steve came home and lockdown hit, I'll show you now in a minute what else he's been doing. So here we have more rondo carrots and our first onions. And we have bush tomatoes here. We're excited because these were a cheap pack that we got as well. So we weren't sure if any of them came up, but we got loads. And you can see how wild our garden is. I'll just show you where our compost is. You'd never know there was compost manufacturing site here, but it's in here. So I'm in my slippers, so it's going to be fun going in here. So this is our horse manure that Annie piles in every day with Steve, and these are my compost heaps. So this one is finished, so it's just breaking down, so that'll be ready for the autumn to go onto beds. This is our newest one. As you can see, lovely little flies going around. So what we'll do is we'll leave that for a month, and then we'll start layering in vegetables. And this is the one that we're doing at the minute, so there's loads of different layers. So leftovers, eggshells from our lovely chickens. And you can put cardboard into compost, just in case you're wondering why I'm dumping cardboard in there. There's Luna again, gone out to the garden. We might actually take a walk out this way instead of going the other way. Or will we, Luna? What way will we go? We go this way, Luna. Come on. So this was a mud pile. And we got our tractor stuck. Hence why there's an old mat there trying to get it out of it. This is Annie's playing area. So she's training up Misty, and she's riding Frankie and Jamie out every day. And in the very, very top corner, this is our pet cemetery. Poor Jeff and Menchie have been buried in our pet cemetery. We reclaimed all of this. This was all dead wood from, obviously, this was previously all one big field. So when they cut back the hedges, they just dumped all the branches here. So Steve spent days and days clearing this out, and he's did an excellent job. Now we just have the problem with the brambles, so we just keep on top of that, cut them down with the trimmers. So we have 2 apple trees and a plum tree here, so they're cooking apples. But I'm sure the horses, when they start to flower, they have flowered, but it's their first year, so we will, if there's any small apples coming up, we'll just take them away so that the roots get a chance to establish. So as you can see, the brambles have popped up in the last day or two. So we'll just trim all them down again, because we're at nothing in this ground trying to dig them out. So these are tree stumps that Steve and Brian took out. They were just trees that the horses had eaten, so they weren't going to come back. And they were diseased and everything. These are the ladies. Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong, Crispy? Black one's Crispy. This one's Muriel. Harry's one's Zelda. This girl over here is Pepsi. As you can see, they got painted, and the paint won't come off. That's Steve's one, Lara Croft. She's been poorly, but she's on the mend again, so hopefully we'll get eggs off her in a few days. And this is Brian's brat. This is Gertrude. And she's the bravest of them all, and she just wants to be picked up and cuddled all the time. So this is where we have our broccoli and cabbage. They were going on great, but the frost there 2 weeks ago just knocked them back, so they're starting to come on now. There's bits and pieces, weeds coming up everywhere, but we're trying to keep on top of it all. Even that tarp is not working. So these are kale, a whole bed of kale. Seemingly it's the new superfood, so we'll give it a try anyway. In here, this is my bed again. We're very competitive in this family. So we have cauliflower and kohlrabi. So we have no idea what kohlrabi is, but it'll be fun trying to find out. And if we don't like it, the chickens. This is the other little problem. Luna, you're not supposed to be sitting on the plants. She follows me around when I'm gardening. So this is, I didn't show you, but Steve made all these beds, bored silly, and our lovely neighbours, Pat and Miriam, kindly gave us all manure that they had in the farmyard. So as you can see, Steve's been hard at work. If you look at the previous video, I think there was 1 bed in the garden. So I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And if you count the potatoes, 16 beds, and his pea hut up at the very, very top. So thank God for lockdown, because if we were doing ponies, I'd say these would all be dead by now. So in here, Steve's got tomato plants, and I stuck in 2 courgettes while he wasn't looking, because he was going to put more tomatoes in the centre, but haha, it was originally going to be put beans in there, but the frost just got everything in the cold weather snap in the last week. These are more iceberg lettuce. 2 tomatoes and Steve's pet cauliflower. He did this to torment me because he knows I have OCD about the plants. The plants have to go in lines and a very orderly fashion. This is our rhubarb. We're going to have many, many years of harvest off that, so Romy will be delighted. She'll have free rhubarb forever and ever. So in here we planted these, we just threw the seeds in the ground. So here are carrots, beetroot, and perpetual spinach, which I actually think is just beetroot that you just take the leaves off. I'm not sure. This is supposed to be rocket. Please, if anybody knows, they can tell me if it's not. So we could be killing ourselves eating them, but it tastes nice. Chickens love them as well when the leaves get too big. And they do get too big quite often because it's just crazy, absolutely crazy grown. These are our round lettuce. This is our lovely herb bed. So we have lemon balm, parsley, mint. We have dill that I grow from seed. We have coriander that actually survived the frost. There was a basil there, but now look, lovely thistles come up everywhere. Fennel, thyme that we grew from seed, marjoram, St. John's wort. There's a chamomile, but it's just ground cover. So we were going to make a bench and let it grow so you can actually sit in it and you don't kill the plant by sitting on it. So these are lavenders. In this bed we have turnips, and these are mange toots. Very Delby pronunciation. We have red onions then in between the turnips. There has been some pest damage, but we've put down beer traps and they seem to be working. There's more tomatoes. The basil died off. So this is our little flower bed that we've all been doing. So we have zinnias and nasturtiums that me and Harry planted, and sweet peas that we planted as well. And we put down dahlias and I think gladioli. Frost got the dahlia, but it's coming back. So we're happy with that. And in here then, as you can see, Steve's beans did not bode well in the cold spell, but we'll just take them out and we'll just sow direct sow more in. Olivia Reed gave us loads and loads and loads, so we'll be delighted sowing them. More endive, red onions, endive, red onions. We have radish, spring onions. Steve planted these iceberg lettuce. They were just pot bound. They were all in one little tub together. He was very excited about his new plantings. As I say, I have OCD, so I wouldn't have done it that way, but they're working. We'll have to put a beer trap in here. More peas. These are my bushes. We just put them in here for now, but I think eventually what we'll do is we'll take slips off these in the autumn, and we'll eventually have along the boundary there a hedge with fruit and berries. That's our plan, but whether it works or not, I don't know. So we have lamb's lettuce, Swiss chard, which we had for tea last night in 2 ways. We had it actually put it in a quiche and it was gorgeous with our own eggs and own onions. So beetroot that's gone to seed, well, on the way to flower, so chickens will be happy getting them. So we have a variety of lettuces. We have more beetroot. We have spring onions flying it with the odd onion I'm put in. Some of them didn't come out, but these weren't here at the time. I'd forgotten that I'd sown the spring onions. So we have radish here. Steve doesn't like radish, so we'll be donating them to neighbours. And more Swiss chard, which is absolutely gorgeous. Never tasted it before. If you've never tasted it, get it. It's just lovely. More onions. We're going to interplant with the lettuce you saw on the tray inside. Spring onions, flying it. More onions and carrots. The reason we're doing this is seemingly it disguises the smell of the carrots, the onions smell of the carrots, so we don't get carrot root fly. So I don't know what carrot root fly is. So we have a lot of these visitors as well. So we're going to sow more. We did plant onion seeds here, but the frost got them. So we'll try and figure something else out. We have onions, spring onions, then shallots. So these guys here with many sprouts are shallots. More onions are carrots. And in here, I'll pull back this because I have to pull it back anyway. It's too cold at night time at the moment. I'm just going to hold on to this snail. I'm cruel, but I give them to the chickens. The chickens freak out. They don't know what the snail is. It's very funny watching them play with it. If the snails didn't want to be eaten, they shouldn't be in my bed. So in here, because the frost actually, we had these fleece covered and this, and the frost still got in here. So we have courgettes, and these actually were starting, you can see here, flowers. So I'm glad these have recovered. We've had to replant, but we had loads of spare plants, so we weren't too bad. We just popped in new ones. So the hay is supposed to stop the weeds, but the cats and dogs have been playing on it, so it hasn't worked. And this horse manure, rotted down horse manure under this, which courgettes seemingly are supposed to love. See, look, they do. Can you see? More flowers. Sprout, look, loads. We're going to have loads. And I love courgettes, so, and I'm able to eat it, which is even better. So these are all just to keep them warm, because the weather in Ireland is a bit strange. Look at, this is all sterile, and I have to weed this later on. I weeded everywhere else yesterday, talking to friends on the phone. And last but not least, this are potatoes. Frost got them twice, but they're fighting. They're coming back. So another competition on between myself and Steve as to who gets the biggest harvest with the potatoes. I think he's winning at the moment. So the competition is this row. These are the secondaries. I don't know what they're called. I'm brilliant, aren't I? These are Maris pears. The kids picked out those. They're actually flying it. They're doing better than their main crop. These are the secondaries, and they're doing better than the secondaries. And they went in a month earlier. Steve has 2 random tomatoes. Just stuck, as he does. So these are his. He's taken ownership. So he's actually started to get flowers on his peas. So he's delighted, although he wanted these full height. But what will be, will be. So that's it. The joys of our garden. My little shadow, she goes everywhere with me. So it's my sewing room. And security guard. Can you see him with his little dicky bow? So, naughty Kevin. He just sneaks out the windows that I leave open for the kitten. He's a brat. Bye.